start with just a quick look at, in your board packet, we did provide you a copy of the 2022-2023 School First report. If we just scroll through that, it has several items. It has a quick background information. It also has the 2022-2023 criteria in determining that rating. It also, as part of the report, is required to provide last year's. So it has the 2020, 21, 2022 data in it as well. And then it has other required disclosures as provided here. And we have a little bit of information that's also available in, again, financial disclosures from the 2022, I should say, school year, and just capturing some disclosures with that. If we move to a few key points I'd like to provide. One is that the rating was based off of the 2022-2023 rating was actually based off 2021-2022 data. There's a potential 100 points in the scale, 70 points equals passing. There, for the 2022-2023 year, there were 16 scored indicators, and to evaluate both the financial status of the district as well as compliance. And with that, the EMS ISD score was 96, which is an A for superior achievement. Key points of the scoring analysis, and again, just items that to note that were in the criteria. One was that all 4 of the critical indicators were passed, which with those, if you miss one of those, you automatically fail, and so wanted to make that note. The other is that overall it shows a strong performance and compliance by the district. It is something to note, while we had a 96, and that's very admirable, we always strive to be perfect, but that's just not going to happen for a fast growth district. The criteria is not set up for a district to, like ours, that's growing so fast and having to issue debt along the way. We're not going to be able to reach that 100% perfect score, but yet we are very capable of hitting the A. The other item is the low administrative cost ratio for a full value of it there on indicator 13. Again, just kind of recapping, talking about our history. So current year, we were at the 2022-2023 rating. Again, we mentioned we were 96 with superior achievement. But if you look back to 3 prior years, we also secured a 96 in a superior achievement going back to 2019, 2020. And if we talk about other areas where we have school-related or school finance-related ratings in history, obviously this report for this year, along with going back to 2010, 2011, we have 13 years of reports for the School First report on our EMS ISD website. We also have audit reports, and they have all been unqualified and clean. We have those posted on our website, and it's available for the public as well, going back to the 2011-2012 fiscal year. And then other ratings that are important to us would be the credit rating that our credit agencies provide us. And our current ratings for the school district are AA2 from Moody's, AA- from S&P Global, and AA- from Fitch Ratings. Those are all very high level of credit ratings and credit worthiness in evaluating our operation, both looking at our financials, but also looking at our overall managerial style and the way that our district is run when we sit down with those credit bureaus.
Mr. Welch, if you stay on that slide for a moment. I know y'all are aware of this, but people that may be watching that are here, when we talk about the strength of the district in terms of financial means, first of all, you have to look internal, and as an accountant, very well know, you have to look at every nook and cranny of how things are run. And that's where our audit report obviously comes in, and that report is available for people to review. There's a public hearing to discuss it. There's been no material weaknesses that we've had in many years. We're very transparent in the way we work through that process to make sure that people know that we're managing their funds, their tax dollars efficiently. And then also the state has their own system for first report. And superior achievement is not easy to get. You have to manage a district very well. And sometimes it's easy easy to look at, because when we achieve that so often, it's like, well, then it must be simple or easy. It's just not. As y'all look through this, there's all kinds of areas that are really important, including even administrative costs that you have to be under a threshold. And if you're over a certain ratio, the highest you get is 79. You have to get a C automatically. You could be great and everything else, but you have these zero-sum indicators that knock you into a C status immediately. And so we take that really serious, and we're very proud of it, and again, being responsible. And then when you look at nationally, as he was just talking about, we actually do calls with these rating agencies, and they ask us about our board. They ask us about how the history of leadership in our district. They talk about material changes that have occurred, with changes in leadership or COVID or economic downturns or any of those things. They ask everything because they're representing people that are investing billions into the bond market, millions into our own, and they want to ensure that we're credit worthy. And to give a sense of this, when I talk to people that are in this business, in fact, just this weekend, I was talking to somebody about this topic that is actually in this world, but not in the school finance world. And they said, "What's your credit rating with the I forget what's the I think it was S&P." And I said, "Well, double A minus." And they paused. And I said, "I know, it's really good." And I said, "We have an underlying AAA through the permanent school fund." And I said, "That's why people want," the expression in that vernacular is, they want our paper. Okay, they want to buy our bonds. And that couldn't happen just automatically. It happens through prudent financial management for years. You can't do it just one time to get that kind of rating. You have to do it year in and year out. And so as he goes into the next slide, the reason why I underscore that is we can slice and dice and look at all these different angles. These are the ones, if I'm looking at a school district, I'm looking at these three things, because these three things are standard from the credit rating agencies that are apolitical. They don't care what anybody thinks because they're talking about investing other people's money. We have the first report that treats every school district in the state the same. And then we have, of course, the audit report that are standards based on GASB standards, which are national, or local standards, and then, of course, the ethics of those that are doing those audits. And so when I'm looking at a district, I look at these three things. And as he goes into the comptroller report, it's not a bad thing, but it's the least important of anything that we would look at in trying to determine a school district's financial worthiness and our transparency, because all this information is available to the public.
I will also, just to add to your comments on these three ratings here, because they all impact the credit rating, but that equates to dollars for our taxpayers. That equates to lower risk and therefore lower interest costs when we go to sell bonds, which equates to millions of dollars in savings to our taxpayers. And so that's why these are critical to us. The other rating that sits out there is that Comptroller Transparency Stars. And I just want to give a little background on that. Obviously, like we mentioned, school EMS ISD, we're not rated in that. And I can tell you about that program that was put in place about 10 years ago. That was prior to cyber-related fraud and that we deal with on a much higher scale and risk today. At this point, there's about 9% of the districts in this state that have a rating in that realm, and most of those received that rating back when it first came out 10 years ago. Since then, districts, I'll say there just hasn't been a push to pursue it for the exact same reason that we look at it. And we provide almost all of the same level of transparency and information, and actually more years and more data than is required under this. There are some provisions that we strategically do not think it's in the best interest of the district to put out there. And I'll mention that. Overall, there's 13 financial data items in receiving that criteria or that rating. And it's 5 years of accumulated data in those areas. Again, we provide, in most cases, over 10 years of that same data. We provide it in our proposed and approved budget summaries that are posted out on the website. We provide it in the annual debt transparency reports that are again posted on our website. Going back, the data in those reports actually goes back to 2010, 2011. That report was formatted and came about 2015, 16. But the data goes back 5 years. And then our annual audit reports, as we mentioned, there's a ton of data in that provides, again, all the same information that's requested there. The one area we'll post or touch on here is that we do not post our raw format budget detail, nor the check register transaction data, and that's due to the risk of cyber-related fraud. The information is available through our public information request, but if we put that information out there, we do significantly increase our risk in the cyber fraud world.